Let's just jump right into it. Today's title is What's Wrong with Africa by Andrew Tate. And a friend sent me this video, and I thought it was actually a good video with Andrew Tate and the Hodge twins. We're going to jump right into it. And I'm going to talk about the image of Black males in the beginning and then jump into the Africa, because he had a very interesting take on the image of Black men.
Boy, tired of black people. Every time you look up, some Negroes arguing about something.
Well, you know,
Derek Penny, that whole situation.
Oh yeah, that was incredible. That was incredible, and it's. I'll be honest. One of the things that's amazing to me, because I am American. I lived here till I was 8, and then I grew up in England, and then I moved all around the world. What's kind of amazing to me about the American consciousness is that they have this huge preposition with racism, and they seem to think this is a racist country. Like, you motherfuckers haven't been anywhere.
Yeah.
Because this is the least racist nation on the planet. You think America's racist? Let me tell you where's racist. You know the most racist place? Africa.
Oh, yeah.
You ever been to Africa? You Hutu, you're Tutu, you're Boo-Boo. Like, they're fucking killing each other, having genocide. They all look the fucking same. They're pulling out machetes. Look at the Rwandan genocide. I couldn't even tell the two teams. They're running around fucking swinging blades. Bro, the whole world's fucking racist.
Killing each other over nothing.
Over nothing. Hutu, Tutu, your nose shape.
They got
I don't know the fuck.
Huge continent. You got all these black people. You got all these resources.
All they do is kill.
And they're probably the poorest continent in the world.
Of course.
They have no leadership, and their culture is just broken.
100%. And also, it's because Africa's rich that it's poor, which we'll talk about in a second. But America's the least racist place you find on the planet. You think China isn't racist? You think Japan's not fucking racist? You think?
And let me say this: what people, in my opinion, are calling racism isn't racism. It's just human nature. It's just human nature. They've given it a term, and that term is used to program and propagandize, but it's just human nature. If you go somewhere and you're the minority, the initial reaction to you being there is going to not be good, because you're not of the same people, you're not of the same culture. This is just human nature. Now, people will warm up to you and eventually probably befriend you, or maybe not, but it's still just human nature. It's not racism. And we talk about racism, that is a term assigned to white people. So even when you hear racism, it's assigned to white people, because they'll tell you that nobody else can be racist but white people. But let's continue.
India's not racist with this caste system. You think Africa's not racist with this fucking genocides? Everywhere, even when I moved to England, the amount of racism I dealt with for being American. Like, I was American, they're like, oh, yank, oh, dickhead, school shooter. But it's like, watch out. But the thing is, I think it's funny.
Yeah.
But these people can't take a fucking joke. Like, I love when people, I have the most diverse friend group, and our friendships are based on racism. Like, it's funny. It's funny. Like, I know a white guy. Who's loyal. Fucking weird. But like, we make fun of each other all the time. Like, racism is hilarious amongst a friend group. But in America, everyone's so sensitive to it. It's insane. And they believe they live in a racist country. It's like, you need to go basically anywhere else. Go anywhere else and you will see. And what's interesting is actually the countries like Dubai, which I spent a lot of time in, the UAE, which is a super diverse country with 80% immigration. But the locals, the natives, they're above you. You can't fuck with a Gulf Arab in UAE. You can come and you can visit and you can buy a nice house and you can live there and you can enjoy Dubai. But if you crash your car into an Arab, it was your fault. That's just how it is. Like, there's no way out of it, right? So the whole world's fucking racist except America. And these people are constantly and endlessly crying.
And that's really because I'm gonna get to his 2 points I want to highlight. But that's really because of programming and propaganda. That's all. It's just people are being told America is racist without actually experiencing racism. And so I'll make this make sense. They've taken regular life adversities and they've assigned racism to it. So if you go through a normal life adversity, they're convincing you that you're actually going through racism, when in actuality, it's normal to be a human being on this planet and go through adversity. There are folks that are going to like you and folks that are going to dislike you. And we always talk about how people dislike someone based on their appearance, but how about the people that like you based on your appearance? We talk about how folks don't like black folks by the way they look, but how many folks do like black folks by the way they look? We never talk, is the glass half empty or is the glass half full? Again, it's all programming and it's all propaganda.
It's like so ungrateful almost.
Yeah. Well,
it's ungrateful.
I think most of it comes from the black community, though. I think that's what's keeping racism alive in this country. Yeah, and
the white liberal is pushing it too. It's on life support.
Yeah.
Well, I think everyone's tired of it now, but they're going to keep trying to push it because it allows them to feel important for 5 seconds. So they're going to keep trying to push it.
Andrew, do you consider yourself to be African American?
Well, there's times. I'm like the day walker. I swap in and out. It depends.
Right.
You know. Like I had an auntie. She's black and she talks like a white woman until she gets mad. Then she's Jamaican.
Yeah.
You ever had one of them?
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah.
That's like me.
Yeah.
Depends what mood I'm in.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm white. Sometimes I'm black. Depends what mood I'm in.
Yeah.
But no, it's really interesting. And also, pattern recognition isn't racism. We need to make that very clear. Like if I think of a pedophile, I imagine a white man.
Yeah. Right.
And if I think of gang shooting, I imagine a black man. Call me racist, but that's just what I imagine, right?
When I think
you
of
imagine
tacos, I think of Latinos.
well, that's right. Yeah, 100%. Build the wall. So,
and again, this isn't racism. In fact, there's no such thing as racism. I know that might sound controversial, but there's no such thing as racism because if you ask somebody why they don't like a group, they're going to tell you. And it's not going to be based on the way they look. They're going to let you know about their behavior, their actions, their culture, but it's not going to be solely based on their race. Have you ever heard a person say, I just don't like them simply because they're that race? No. When you ask them, why don't you like this group? They'll give you a laundry list of reasons. There's no such thing as racism. It's a made-up term used to not just divide, but also control. It's used to also control, because you think about that word racism has made a lot of white people very passive. It's made white people in America try to concede when it was unnecessary. It's made them try to make concessions when it was unnecessary. And it's made them try to fight for the plight of the Negro when it wasn't even necessary.
We got enough tacos. It's fine. We don't need any more. So
if I walk into a restaurant, a Latino restaurant, and I see a bunch of Asians making tacos, I'm walking right out.
100%. Yeah. So racial stereotypes also exist for a reason, but now we're going to try and tell us that we have to ignore basic pattern recognition or it's racism. Right. And this is the point that's difficult, because I'll be completely honest with you. If I was Snow White and I was a police officer and I was in inner Chicago and it's 4 a.m. and I've stopped a Toyota Camry and there's 4 black guys in it, and my partner got killed 2 years ago because of a Toyota Camry with 4 black guys in it, and they're not compliant, I'll be trigger happy. Now, to pretend he's not, that's pattern recognition. Yeah,
right.
That's pattern.
That's
now,
how you survive.
That's how you survive in the world.
Yeah.
The reason our ancestors survived is because we saw someone go try and pet the lion. Got eaten, and we're like, there's a pattern here.
Yeah.
You try. Oh, he died too. Okay, avoid the lion. Right. There's a pattern recognition. So what's interesting, what's so scary about this racism argument is it prevents people. I'll give you another example of this in a second, but it prevents people from acting appropriately, understanding that perhaps the world's not a perfect place. Perhaps it's never going to be fully balanced. So you need to understand when you are going to be deemed more of a threat. So if I was a completely black person in that,
and to piggyback on what he just said, imagine this propaganda, the foundation of it for it to make sense is to make you believe that you deserve a perfect world. You deserve a perfect existence. Like my question is, what are you all comparing your experience to? Because what you'll find is that people are comparing their experience to perfection, meaning the world's supposed to be heaven, but you're not getting heaven. You're getting bits and pieces of heaven, but not a full heaven. And so really what you see is this kind of replacing God, like we're going to make this heaven on earth. And if I don't get it, then I'm going to tear this place apart. But my question is, who promised you heaven on earth? Who promised you heaven on earth? Now, things that should be loosed on in heaven and be loosed on earth, but who promised you heaven on earth, though? Now you can get the things of God on earth, but who promised you a perfect existence on earth where everybody likes you, nobody prejudges you, no one uses stereotypes, everyone just sees the good in you? Imagine how many deplorable people out there, deplorable individuals, most of them on the left, most activists, most protesters, most folks in social justice are deplorable people. Imagine these people expecting someone to treat them well, and they're horrible people. Like, it's just insane. Who promised you a utopia? Who promised you a perfect world? You love quoting Frederick Douglass, without struggle, there is no progress. So wouldn't you welcome the struggle to become better? Wouldn't you welcome the struggle to progress? No. What you do is you take anything that is a struggle for you and you just say it's racism.
Camry, I would say this officer is intimidated guys. We would be on our best behavior.
Right.
Now, they'll sit and say, I shouldn't have to do that. You shouldn't have to lock your door at night.
Yeah.
But you do.
Right.
The world's not a perfect fucking place.
Right.
There's no such thing as shouldn't have to.
Right.
I'm a big man. If I go and knock, let's say my car breaks down and I go knock on someone's door in the middle of the night, I know that I'm scary. If a little girl knocks, they may open it. I'm going to be more intimidating. I have to keep that in mind. I'm not going to be at the door like they're trying to flex. Yeah. They're not going to fucking open it. Yeah. You have to know the game you're playing.
Yeah, because white people, someone knocking on their door, they're like, I don't know this guy. This is probably a home invasion.
Yeah, exactly. You know? Yeah. So what I'm saying is, and this get me in trouble, if you're a black person in the inner city and you understand how the inner city runs, when you're getting stopped by police, you should comply more than ever because you should understand perhaps it's unfair he has these preconceived notions. Perhaps it's unfair. Perhaps you're a great person. Perhaps, yes. But the world's not perfect.
Yeah.
Right. And thinking that the world is perfect and us trying to push this ideal version of the world where everyone ignores basic pattern recognition is bullshit and garbage. I'm more intimidated when I walk past 5 men. If I'm walking alone at night and there's 5 men on a street corner, I find that more scary than 5 women on a street corner. Yeah. Am I sexist?
No.
No, that's fucking, I'm not a dumbass. I'm a realist. Right. I'm a realist. So this racism's gone so far now that we're disrupting the ability for people to be realists. So they're expecting a little white woman to walk past 5 big Negroes in the middle of inner city Chicago and be like, don't be racist, Jane. Don't be racist, Jane.
And that's really what it is. It's honestly designed to put people in harm's way. That's really what the purpose of it is. Because to expect a white person to not take precautions because you're telling them they're racist if they do, like when somebody runs by your car and you lock the door. I mean, I've been in cars with my whole life black women that locked the door when somebody was coming by the car. In all black neighborhoods, they lock the door. So to make white people feel ashamed or make them try to feel racist because they believe in self-preservation, to me is an intentional way to put them in harm's way. In my opinion, it's an intentional way to put them in harm's way. Then they get hurt or killed, and then you have more tension between the races. And so that young lady that sat on that train, I think it was in North Carolina, I think it was in Charlotte, the Ukrainian girl that got stabbed, that young lady, she sat in front of that guy or sat on that train, and I guarantee she was already liberalized in America. I already know she was. I already know they told her all black people aren't like this. They're nice. They're wonderful people. It's the white man that's bad. I know all that stuff. And so she sat there not even thinking. Me personally, I wouldn't sit anywhere with my back to somebody, a stranger anyway, just out of just safety for myself, period. But I know she had her headphones on. She probably rode on that train 100 times, never got bothered. But the one time she wasn't precautious, this is what happened. She got killed.
Don't be racist. Hi, fellas. Like, bro, you're gonna lose your handbag.
Yeah,
at least.
Right. That doesn't bother me. Like if I'm getting to an elevator, this happened to us. We'll get in an elevator and it's just a white lady and she'll just back in the corner and just like grab onto her purse.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't blame you.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
I don't blame you at all.
But what's funny about it is they'll pretend that being intimidating is a terrible curse when it comes to something like a police stop. when they live their entire life trying to be as intimidating as possible.
Exactly.
You're standing a certain way. You're dressing a certain way. You're listening to certain music. You're fucking gangbanging. You want everyone to walk past you to know you're a real fucking G. You want everyone scared of you all the time. Except for when the cop gets scared and pulls his weapon, then it's like, whoa, what's the problem? You've been scaring people your whole fucking life. You've been intimidating people your whole life. You could have had a 3-piece suit on and a fucking little hat. You've been fine. No, you're wearing a fucking Crip bandana. Why do you think I was a gangster?
Like, talking in Ebonics.
Yeah, but it's bullshit. So all of this is done on purpose. This whole racism argument's gone way too far. As far
and that's the great point that he brought up. And he brought up, and I'm gonna say black men having this affinity for wanting to look tough and be hard. My whole life, I see this growing up where you practice your mean mug, you practice looking hard. E40 had a song when I was coming up. I got a mirror in my pocket and I practice looking hard. But you know, it's just image, this bravado that black men portray. But then they want the police to see them as good people. Like, it's just insane. But it lets you know that part of their psychology is making the white person seem like they're God, because you're acting white people to be able to decipher who you really are through the bravado, through the gang, through the bandanas, through the guns in the pictures, through the crime, through the image, through the trying to intimidate people, through the acting hard, through all of this. You expect white people to see through all of that and see that you're a good person, like your mama. But it's just crazy. But I thought he made a good point that they use intimidation in every other aspect of life except when it comes to the police, and now they want to be a victim. It's disgusting.
As far as I know, black people and white people have basically the fair treat. I mean, the law applies to all of us. DEI actually gave black people. You know what I love? If you watch on Twitter, it's actually the best argument. It's so fun. The race realists, the super racists who say like black people are genetically different to white people and you're more violent and and all this shit. They always attack me on Twitter they call me mulatto and all this shit. It's so funny. And I read all their shit. I read all their shit. I read all the race realism stuff. And I'm kind of sitting there going, kind of agree with some of it. They're saying black people are more naturally violent. I'm like, hey, damn right. Watch out. But that's right, pussy. But culture on a long enough time frame becomes genetics. I mean, let's be honest. Is the average African as smart as the average Westerner? No. I would argue that if you go to the Central African Republic where they don't have schools and they don't have infrastructure and their parents haven't been to school and their grandparents haven't been to school, that probably they're not as smart as somebody who's their entire bloodline's been university educated. Probably that is true. So after a long enough time frame, it becomes genetic. And then you want to take enough of them and dump them over here and expect them to operate within complicated systems they don't fully understand. They're probably just going to say, fuck it, let's rob the store. And then you have, I mean, this is realism. This is realism.
Yeah, because you look at Africa.
So he brought up a good point, and I've argued this, that it's not really IQ. Well, I say if a person has to choose culture or IQ, most of the time they're going to pick their culture, because we do things culturally that don't make any sense. So people will most oftentimes pick the culture for the sake of being accepted by the group, everybody. But it just so happens that what we're calling white culture or Western culture, I don't even think is more advanced more than it had to be to adapt to where white people were. He's going to talk about that. But what he just said is culture becomes IQ. And it makes sense because of your culture. And I talk about black people all the time. Black culture focuses on race more than it focuses on education. Black culture focuses on race and skin color more than it does intelligence, more than it does learning, more than it does anything that will improve a group of people or society. Black people focus on the most base level thing, and that's appearance. That's the culture, though. So I don't think that all black people have a low IQ, but I think that if a group of people focuses the majority of their energy on what a person looks like and what another person is thinking, i.e. white people, you're probably going to have a low IQ.
It's a continent, it's not a country, but if that was a country like the United States with the resources they got, the manpower they have, there would be a superpower.
It should be
the biggest superpower.
It should be a superpower.
But this little United States, majority is white, is running the world.
Well, white people are the best at building complicated systems. That's what the white people do best.
Yeah.
I mean, like, my camera guy who's off. There he is. Look at him. Look at him.
White
right?
guy.
These are the people who, in 1960s in NASA, when they did Apollo 11, all them motherfuckers, there was like 20,000 of them, little white guys with glasses and pieces of paper and a pen, and they put something on the moon.
Yeah.
You get 10,000 black people in a room, tell them to achieve anything.
Dude, that was so wrong. But factual.
It's true. I talk about each group of people having their gifts, and that is white people's gift. Their gift is creating complicated systems. I won't even say complicated, creating systems that ensure a harmonious society. I say that white people's gifts is creating infrastructure. So they'll create something that a person can come in and benefit from. And that's their gift. That is a God-given gift. Like black people's gifts is influence. And so, yeah, what he just said is true. You get 20,000 black people together, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. Nothing will get accomplished. And not because black folks don't have the capacity for it to get accomplished or the IQ, it's because the culture won't allow it. The culture will supersede anything that's positive. And I'm sorry to say that the black culture is literally an antichrist culture. It is. And you can't name anything good about black culture. And when black people were at their height, all they did was mimic Western culture because they were born in America. So their culture was actually Western culture or American culture or white culture. That was their culture with the flair of what they call Negro or black color, whatever. But that was the foundation of the culture, was white, Western, or American culture with Christian values.
How long till there's a fight? Shanique was jumping in. She's trying to hit him. Like we're more family orientated. We're more clan orientated, right?
Yeah. You know, more tribalistic.
We're tribalistic, which is a pro and a con. Again, these are pros and cons. But if you want to extrapolate it out towards a nation state, the thing the white man is best at is working with people he doesn't know. That's a white man superpower. A white man will go, hello, I've got a bunch of money. And I want to build boats. I've decided I want to build boats. So I'm going to go and find the best boat builder. John Smith. Hello, boat builder. I don't know you. You don't know me. This is called a contract. And let's do a contract. And you're going to build the boats and I'm going to pay for it. And now we have a successful shipping company. In Africa, it doesn't work that way. They're like, I'm rich. I want boats. Who do I know? My cousin.
Yeah.
My cousin can't build boats. He doesn't know anything about boats, but that's who I know. He's the only guy I trust. He's in my clan. He's my family. So I go to my cousin. You're in charge of the boats. Okay, I will build the boats. And he takes the money, and then no boats get built, and then everything's fine. That's why the finance minister is the second cousin of the fucking president, and nobody knows anything, and it's all insidious because you only trust your people. Now, I'm still like that now. I'm black enough like that now. I trust my brother, my people. So I got that black in me, but I'm also white enough to know I can do a contract and get a boat built. But white people are fantastic at trusting people they don't know. That's why white people are like howdy neighbor. They don't even know you. Howdy. White people have this weird, no, it's not weird, but the white people mentality is far more attributed towards the benefit of society with a larger understanding of working with those they're not directly correlated with. Whereas the black people is like, these are my people only. And
I think that he made a brilliant point right there. His point is brilliant. White people, as part of their gift, you got to think about it now. As I said earlier, in order to create a society, a functioning society that benefits everybody, you have to be willing to interact with everybody. And so what he is saying is true. I've gone to white private schools my whole life, mostly white. I've gone to obviously white universities. And I can tell you now that white people are way less standoffish than black people or any other group. I would say that white people are the most open and greeting you, talking to you, giving you, just be lost somewhere. And I guarantee somebody white wants to help. Be looking for something, you need something, and somebody white will be wanting to help. To me, that is a part of a gift that God gave them. This is why Christianity got spread around the world. Now, people attribute what he's saying about white people being willing to work with everybody. They call it names like colonialism and white dominance and all of this stuff. But in actuality, the white societies that we have in the world are the best. You can achieve the most in the white societies to a fault. And so as much as white people get a bad rap, they should be getting some credit for what they've done too, because all this hooting and hollering that folks do is done in white countries. The white countries allow for you all to get on your soapbox and poke your chest out and do all this stunting. These are the white countries.
Very insular. But it becomes far more difficult to run a country that way with competence. If you want to run a country competently, you need to find the most competent man for the job. Right. I don't know if this is true. I don't want to be held up on it, and I don't want to be attacked for it. It might not be true, but I heard something that when the British start sailing their ships around, they were amazed that when they got to all these native countries, the Aboriginals in Australia and Africa and India, all these places, no one had heard of a contract. No one had heard of the idea of working with someone who wasn't their family. They're like, it's a contract. They haven't heard of a contract. No one had heard of that. So what? You just find
These
anyone to do it?
Heard of a house? They was living in grass huts.
Well, that's right. So they were like
savages.
Yeah. Well,
have you seen those videos of them eating?
Hey, pull up
it's
that,
the year 20.
Joe, pull up those TikTok videos of these African tribes.
Byron, I'm sorry. Listen, I know you got busted for weed. Fucking talk about letting the black man down. For busted for fucking weed.
Yeah. Check fraud.
Andrew Tate's a human trafficker. You know, fuck this guy. I'm moving to Vegas. Fuck these people. Bring your case. Fuck you.
Yeah, make it bigger, Joe. These people have not evolved at all for like probably 5,000 years.
Back to being a white man back in the slave days. So yeah, we'll take these.
All right, so let's talk about this now.
Yeah.
We're going down race realism, and you know, we're the only people brown enough to get away with this, so we can do it.
Oh, we're not going to get it.
But he was talking about tribalism. He was talking about wanting only to work with your group. Now they're talking about, but again, I talked about this earlier about not having to evolve though. And I think people don't think about the necessity to evolve. If you can survive by doing the bare minimum, then that's what most folks will do. But white people were not in climates and regions that would allow them to do that. They had to be innovative. They had to work, like they had to branch out. You got to think, most of these places, people only interact with other groups to trade, where there's a mutual benefit. So why would they have a contract? If your cousin, your sister, your father, your mother, you all working together, there's no need for a contract because what you all are doing is benefiting the family or the tribe. And then when you go outside of the tribe, you're basically trading for something. That's not really a contract either. You know, I got this, you got that, we're going to trade and go on about our business. Maybe we might come together to make an alliance to become bigger. Like I'll give you my daughter, your son, and get married, make the tribe bigger, whatever. But for the most part, there would be no need for a contract. And again, there was no need to have this type of culture in these areas. The closer you get to the equator, the less advancement you're going to see. That's just how it works. The further you get away, the more advancement you're going to see because of survival. It's a rougher place to live when it's cold and it's hard to grow food, all of this stuff, man.
Wait with this shit.
Well, let's talk about it, right?
Yeah.
So the white man, where he grew up, primarily, they had to plan ahead in a way different than the Africans did. So like if you were in England, you had to grow grain because that's how you eat. But grain only grows a certain part of the year. So you have to think ahead and you have to plan. You have to plow the field. Then you have to grow the grain. Then you got to build buildings to store it in. And that means you need a lot of people. A lot of people need schools, hospitals, roads, housing. Now you need a city. You have to plan everything over a year cycle just to have food. In Africa, they didn't have to do that. Mango. Boom. They just go get a mango when they're hungry. Go kill this. They had so much resource, they didn't have to plan ahead. Wait till you're hungry, kill something, eat it. You didn't have the same infrastructure that was required to eat.
Yeah, it gets cold in Europe.
It gets cold. You got to build a house. You need firewood. You got to think ahead. You apply that across 1,000 years. You have a very different mentality towards life than you do in Africa, which is just pure brutal survivalism. That's what it is.
I've heard that argument because of the weather, white versus the white man and the black man. Both races evolved differently over time because living in a cold, horrible climate, you got to think.
Yep.
And you live in a warm environment, you just get up, take a shit, and
Yeah.
make you a bowl of soup like these niggas.
That's right. That's right. And you're good.
Yeah.
So this is it. And then we also apply this to what I said earlier about the white man having to work with other people he doesn't particularly know. If you're going to go through all that work to build to grow grain, and you have to build a grain store, you don't want your grain to go bad. So you're going to find the best grain store company guy in the world, whoever he is, and you're going to have a contract with him. You're going to learn to work with and get along with people you didn't particularly get along with, etc. Whereas Africans didn't have any of these problems, so they're far more clan based and clan oriented.
Tribalistic. You see that here in America? Like I used to be a private investigator, and I was watching people like insurance claims right back in the day.
So he's watching me for Byron.
Yeah. So
why am I giving Byron a hard time? Fuck Ron too. Fuck both of them.
Yeah.
fuck Ron, little Ron.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So I was a private investigator, and they sent me to the black community. It was Watts. Nobody else wanted to go.
Yeah.
They said, you'll fit in. So the white man sends me there, and I'm there. I'm in that neighborhood maybe 2 minutes before everybody comes out like, who is this nigga?
Yeah, of course.
It's like, you see that tribalism that came from evolution in Africa is here in America.
Oh, 100%.
You could just go into any black neighborhood, all black. Even if you're black, they're going to be looking at you crazy.
But this is the thing that's interesting, because people at home don't understand that the matrix itself, the people who are in charge of the world, they find every innate action or every innate inclination that humans have, and they hijack it and Trojan horse it. So the natural tribalism that blacks have, they hijack and Trojan horse and use against us when a convicted fucking felon does some dumb shit he shouldn't have done, and and black people defend him anyway. Right. Because it's tribalism, right?
Right.
Y'all should go check this video out with Andrew Tate and the Hodge twins. It's actually pretty good. And again, there's nuance in life and nuance in our existence. And I've said this before, that black culture itself was not created for self-preservation of a group. Black culture was simply created to be at odds with white culture, Western culture, American culture, a civilized society, structure and order. That's where black culture came from. The culture that black folks think they had before the invention of black culture was just your grandparents and great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents adopting American culture because they were American. They grew up in America. And so they just had an American culture with a Negro or colored flair to it, but it was still, its roots were an American culture and Christian base. So that was the culture. But now what black culture is not that. That's why the black community looks so different today. That's why the black woman is celebrated. It's a matriarchy. The black woman leads the way. It's no focus on God, no focus on education, no focus on betterment. The focus is all on the surface, all on debauchery, death, destruction, and damnation. And there's a reason behind it. But again, as far as what we're seeing in America, we are seeing the same thing. The difference is that harsh climate and terrain that white people grew up on to create that culture. Imagine how it makes an oasis in other cultures. So in Europe, they survive with that culture, but when that culture is taken somewhere else, it makes it almost a utopia. And so this is why I say that people are spoiled by this thing called Western culture. People are spoiled by it because anywhere that adopts it, the place flourishes. I'm not saying the place isn't going to be decadent, but the place flourishes. And so I thought this Andrew Tate episode was excellent with the Hodge twins. They are hilarious, man. I thought it was a good episode. Somebody sent this to me. If y'all want me to react to something, just send me something and I'll react to it. But I thought it was an excellent video. And I think that this is what will help us in the future is people actually thinking outside the box and actually just thinking, actually cutting the TV off and listening to different perspectives, listening to different ideas and different viewpoints to get an understanding. But if you listen to this propaganda, you're going to see the world just one way. White people racist, black people oppressed, end of story. And life is much more nuanced than that. Thank y'all.